thank you once again for making time with us on Volunteers TV show here on Channel One TV. We promote volunteerism, active citizenship, and patriotism. The question is, what are you doing in your own small way to make Ghana a better place? Today we are looking at volunteerism, active citizenship, and patriotism in Ghana. How are we faring with this great and important subject matter? To delve into these issues, we have an astute governance expert here in Ghana who has been with the Institute of Local Government Studies as the director for over 12 years, Dr. Esther Ofei Abuaje. Doc, thank you very much for making time with us on Volunteers TV show. But I would like to start this conversation by knowing from you, can you walk us through your journey through local governance and development?
Thank you very much for having me on this very important program. I trained, first of all, I trained as a teacher at the University of Cape Coast.
Okay.
And goodness, I went on to do a master's in public administration. And whatever you do, you have to have a disciplinary background where you come from. So soon after my master's, I was employed at the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, which is GIMPA.
Okay.
So that beyond the generic public administration, I developed some interest in local governance. The idea being that the people need services from the government. The people have a relationship with the government. First of all, if the government has obligation in terms of ensuring the rights of citizens, ensuring that each of the citizens realize their rights, and the public resources that they are harnessed effectively, used optimally, so that everybody benefits equitably because it's their right, then the citizens must have a relationship with government. So that once government provides services, the citizens are the clients of government, and therefore the government has to provide adequate client services. Once the citizens must participate in the decision making, they have representatives, including the members of parliament and the local authority.
Okay.
And there are other relationships between the citizens and government. So in doing public administration, I realized that the institutions of government were there, but were they reaching the people? Were they on the doorsteps of the people? Were the people able to say, I like this, or I don't like that, or this works for me? Does this fit? Is it meeting my need? So I was intrigued with questions like that. And I was also very fortunate in the sense that my participation or involvement in civil society is almost as strong as my involvement in public sector and governance. So I have a very active, or I have had a very active civil society presence and participation all my working life. I mean, for the past about 40 years, I may say so.
Right.
So at a point, I was asking myself that where do citizens and the groups that represent them come into contact with government? So that we know that our traditional civil society includes ASAFO companies, women's groups, market associations, artisans groups, and so on. Like I said, indicated the traditional ones are there, but we also have our traditional representatives, like our traditional authorities, our chiefs, and so on. And then Ghana, too, being very religious, our faith leaders, and so on. So I asked myself, where do these people interact with the organs of state? Our members of parliament, our government institutions and state
our ministers and all
ministers and so on. So that naturally made me take a look at local governance. And I came to it at a very exciting time in Ghana's history because in 1988, the nation had begun implementing the assembly system of local government.
Okay.
And we then had
the decentralization.
The decentralization.
Right.
Ghana had invested in other decentralization initiatives.
Okay.
But this latest one, which brought the assembly system of governance, tried to highlight the importance of participation and access to governance structures by the people. So then the question then comes. These assemblies are supposed to ensure the total development of locality for the people, so that the people get the services they need, the traditional local government services like market, sanitation, and so on, but also local economic development and as well as people's participation in planning. So asking myself where the nexus was took me to the issue of local governance. And the assembly system had begun in 1988. And then Ghana went into constitutional rule or regime in 92, and then we got the constitution and started implementing in 93 when we introduced partisan politics. So the critical question for me then was how the assembly system of local government, which had been enshrined in the 1992 constitution, would adapt to the multi-party environment in which we found ourselves, and how we could empower local authorities to be responsive to and accessible to the local people.
Doc, giving us this background to how you got into local governance and all of this, how will you define volunteerism in the context of Ghana today?
Very good. It's interesting, you see, because the assembly system that you were talking about premised or assumed that people will voluntarily get involved. People will voluntarily be interested in it. But to volunteer, to the question that you are saying, there are a number of definitions and understanding. And you know, one group of people I'm involved in is Star Ghana Foundation, and they have done a lot of work around that. But I dare not employ somebody else's definition. I think of volunteerism as somebody giving of their resources, their time, their energy, their finances, their influence to others. It could be individuals, it can be groups, it can be geographical groups or interest groups of their own volition without expecting a return or without expecting to be remunerated or compensated for that resource that they have provided.
Okay, great.
So that is where I'm going with this.
And how do you see that spirit in Ghanaians today? Is it something that is happening in large quantity, or people now seem to be derailing from this whole volunteerism spirit? Because I know that Ghanaians, our culture, our tradition, naturally is voluntary. Right from our upbringing, we saw within our community how people voluntarily do things for community members, for the community, in terms of community, communal labor, and all the like. Do you still see more of this in our system today?
I think over the years this has deteriorated. At least over the past 3-4 decades, it's deteriorated. Like you rightly said, our traditional systems had Nobwa, and they had people coming to support each other. If it's weeding, they go and weed each other's farms. In turn, you look after people's families and children. You know, the self-help spirit is there. and people rush to your assistance. I mean, you know that traditionally Ghana, even when your car has a tie, but
on your
you
road.
see people rushing to come and assist you. But I believe and I fear that over the past few decades, this spirit has gone down for a number of reasons. People seem to expect some consideration, some payback, some what is in it for
Somebody
me?
say instant gratification.
Instant gratification. What is in it for me? Why am I doing this? Why am I helping? While there are still elements of this spirit of wanting to be helpful, wanting to be friendly there, people are less shy to show you that they have some expectation, what they want out of it. And I believe that this is as a result of many factors. I believe that, for instance, urbanization is weakening the familiar linkages.
Okay.
You know that some of these going to help people weed, going to support each other in exchange of, or being expecting to be supported by your community is stronger in more integrated societies, more rural societies, where everybody knows everybody else and so on. Now, with urbanization, people become more heterogeneous, people from different ethnic groups, and so on and so forth. So that within the ethnic groups, within the urban areas, maybe there can be that expectation of support in anticipation that when it's your turn, you'll get somebody to assist you. So I think urbanization has played a critical part in loosening some of these things. I think also that some of us development organizations are also to blame. We organize these things and we give a token for transport. We give a token for water. So people, I think early in my career, somebody said we are buying participation. So that if you do it and then at the end of it, they'll ask you, is there something we are signing? Or we are sharing something. You know, the next time you come or the next time somebody else comes and they don't share something, it doesn't go well. One thing I also observed is that a lot of development initiatives also have taken some of our people, even though they are intended to help our people, they've taken them out of their economic activities. I mean, they come there with an opportunity cost to their time. Let me make an example. For instance, the assembly members I was talking about, you expect them to go to the assembly. You expect them to go around communities, talk to people, solicit inputs, and so on. Meanwhile, they have economic activity. He has a shop, he has a market store, he has a pharmacy, or something that generates income that they look after themselves and their families with. As they are doing these activities, they are foregoing these economic earnings. And we are also not compensating them enough, to cater for their families. So you see a situation where the person says, oh, as for me, I'm going to my farm. I remember we went into one community to do community education, advocacy, and so on. And one woman, a number of women helped to set up the benches and, help us prepare. So I started seeing her going. So I said, oh, Auntie, aren't you staying? She said, oh, I have to go to my farm. I'm going to my farm. It's what I'm saying. So when she weighed the situation, she was better off going to her farm than that.
That brings us to the issue of active citizenship. We are talking active citizenship. Active citizenship. As a governance expert, how will you, one, define this active citizenship, connecting it to the citizenry of Ghana, and how can we, through active citizenship, participate in the development of our nation?
Right. You are asking for a definition of active citizenship, which one can be divided into two. Because citizenship implies a certain right, a certain belonging to a certain jurisdiction group or a certain jurisdiction group or country. Now, we are talking about nationhood, geographical. So you are a citizen of a nation, a certain geographical entity, which is not only a geographical entity, but also a political and social entity. So that you are by right a member of that group with all of its privileges and all of its obligations to you as a member of that group. So that a citizen is one who would be recognized as belonging to a certain geographical and political jurisdiction with all of its obligations and rights to them as a citizen. In turn, that person also has responsibilities and obligations to ensuring that that jurisdiction is properly managed or governed. Governed in terms of how resources are mobilized, how public resources are mobilized, how they are utilized, decisions about how they are exploited, processed, and how the benefits are shared. So that would be citizenship. I mean, that entitlement, if you like. Now, when we talk about active citizenship, it means that this is a person who is not waiting for things to go on, who is oblivious of how that jurisdiction is governed, who is apathetic, or if not even apathetic, is indifferent to how the jurisdiction is organized, how decisions are made, how decisions are made, how they are implemented, how they are accounted for. Not only accounted for in terms of the state institutions and the use of financial and other resources, but to you, the rights holder, you, the citizen, to whom that state has an obligation. The state has a social contract with its citizens.
To the holistic governance.
The holistic governance. The state has a social contract that I will endeavor, I will ensure that these basic rights are yours. I will ensure that you have the opportunity, every opportunity to participate in the processes that lead to managing all of these things. And you, in turn, are required to do a number of things, including your civic responsibility, including managing this environment, managing the political, the social, the natural, and economic environment in ways that makes it worthwhile to have a nation or a citizen.
Our pledge is, I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. So, defining the active citizenship, just as you've done, there is a role of government to ensure your rights and all other responsibilities.
The protection and respect for your rights.
That's right. Are well managed. You as the individual citizen in turn also has some responsibility to ensure that the state is governed in the manner that will be satisfactory.
That's right.
Many are the challenges we face as a nation. Social challenges, some environmental, issue of employment. There are many are our challenges.
That's right.
And it would take these active citizens to, in a way, solve these challenges. Because you have defined citizenship to be individuals within a certain geographical area. Ghanaians are Ghanaians. Nigerians will be Nigerians. Germans will be Germans within their own geographical location. So it would take Ghanaians to develop the Ghana they want. What do you think, from where you are coming as a governance expert, where is the missing link between governance and citizenship responsibility in building the Ghana we want?
Right. This is a very loaded question, and yes, I'm not a governance expert. I'm a student of governance. But having said that, you know, in the definition of citizenship, I indicated that even though the basic definition is geographical jurisdiction, it also has political, social, and other connotations.
Okay.
For instance, there are many Ghanaians who live in the diaspora. They are not here. They are there. Is what I'm saying. But they identify with Ghana because this was their geographical origin. And it is also defined politically and defined legally as a jurisdiction.
Okay.
Now, there are Ghanaians who live on the border, so that their bedrooms are in Ghana and then their kitchens are in Togo or Cote d'Ivoire or wherever, you know, so that they can identify as Ghanaians, but they can also identify as something else. So that it goes beyond geographical jurisdiction, but the basis is also the geographical jurisdiction, but, you know, has all these implications. Even the sentimental attachment of knowing that you come from this place. Having said that, does the citizen have an obligation? What is the missing link between government, governance, and active citizenship?
Good.
I think that was the question that you asked. Yes, the citizen has obligations, and we've tried through civic education to apprise and equip our children with that knowledge. So, like we're quoting the pledge, I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. Now, even sometimes you hear people saying that, is Ghana worth dying for? A nation that does not honor its heroes, is it worth dying for? Sometimes people break their backs to ensure the collective good, and others will be siphoning the gains. And then they look and say, why am I breaking my back? It's only going to be destroyed or dissipated. Your Equiapin people will say, dissipated good resources, so that sometimes hampers people's desire to be patriotic. You know, again, people invest in patriotism, do the right thing. They don't want to be nepotistic. They don't want to cut corners. They want the system to work. And then they see other people cutting corners, getting ahead, and then sanctions don't apply. So that becomes a deterrent. It doesn't make it worthwhile. People see that they don't invest in the country. They look for shortcuts to get resources and so on. And then other people who don't actively join them become complacent. Now, the question I ask myself, and the conclusion I've come to, is that people must see the benefits of governance to them.
That's right.
We haven't done civic education well. When I was younger, several years ago, you know, people did civics. People did civic. So from your infancy or throughout the system, you are encouraged to see yourself as a Ghanaian. You're encouraged to see yourself as having obligations. You're encouraged to know that you don't litter. You're encouraged to know that this happens, that happens, and so on. But it appears over the years we have diluted the content of our civic education. It is not consistent. And we are also not resourcing the institutions that have the responsibility for civic education adequately. I mean, if you look at NCCA, they are doing their best. But a lot of their resources come from donor resources, so that internally we are not doing a lot for them over there.
That brings us to the patriotism bit of the discussion. We have defined the active citizenship, the responsibility that downs on citizens to participate in the governance of the country. Patriotism. What will you say about patriotism in Ghana? How patriotic are Ghanaians? Where we say, as a citizen, payment of tax is a responsibility. How you even manage state resources, state assets. It's a responsibility as a citizen. How are we able to conscientize citizenry to be patriotic enough towards the development of this nation?
Patriotism is a difficult discussion in the sense that patriotism would be love and commitment to one's country and its development and its resources. Patriotism is an ownership.
That's right.
It's an ownership concept. You feel you can identify with the country and its business and its progress. So that if it doesn't progress, you can see the impact, or you can think of the implications for your children and how it impacts upon your self.
There are a few individuals that are doing so well as patriotic and active citizens of Ghana. When it comes to the issue about the environment, and you see we have these young guys, pastor boys, you see them cleaning up all manner of filth around. When it comes to even supporting the needy, you have people such as the Richard Ni, Amakwe, and doing these food banks and feeding people, opening new branches in other places.
Right.
So there are a few good examples that we can point out to. How do we encourage more of our citizens to engage themselves in activities such as this? How do we go about it to encouraging citizens to do more?
I think it's very important for us to send the message that you need not be as big as the Niyama gentleman. I think he has made quite a bit of money. But when you do, people say, I don't know where in school, one of your I think we have to encourage people to say, that in your own small way, you are or you can give of yourself. You can give of your substance, you can give of your time, you can give of your influence, and you can give of your knowledge. You see what I'm saying? So you can give of your time, committing to go and clean, committing to sleep, committing consistently, just offering what it is you have.
Good.
If you don't have time, you can give of your money. You know that crowdfunding has become a thing in the West. And I think President Obama's first term was reputed to have been won on people giving $5, $10, $20, $5, $10.
Crowdfunding.
Yes. So that we must also be able to encourage people giving silver collection. But people are cynical about that. Once you collect people's money, you must be ready to be accountable to say, we collected so much. This is what it is we did with it. Do you agree with how we've used it? Is this something you would like to commit to? So that looking at the issues of philanthropy, looking at the issues of giving, a lot of people already give. A lot of people look after less fortunate people and so on. But how to get them to do it consistently and in ways that make a difference is what it said. The third area of giving, as I said, so you can give your time. For me, time is a very precious resource. Very, very precious resource. People can pull it together, stand in the gap for people and so on. Very important. You can give of your substance, that's your money. You can also give in kind, because a lot of things also go to waste. Clothes go to waste, and people have yards, reams of clothes they will never wear again. But you see, for that kind of thing, there must be channels of giving.
That's right.
Now, many people would like to give clothes and things, but they don't know who to give, how to give, and what people will say.
Exactly.
So that the systems for mobilizing these resources and getting it to where they are most needed. Your influence. Some of us are placed in positions where we can, and this is more a political resource in terms of knowledge, knowing where certain things are, where certain things can be accessed, what we can do differently, and so on. And finally, your technical capacity, writing proposals, cleaning up people's documentation, and helping them is all very important ways of giving.